Hello and welcome to today's video. This is going to be a really fun one. So every year these videos, these challenges, don't know whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, whether they're just personal, they go around and it's always to read X amount of books in the year. So this year we have to read 25 books in 2025. You can do this absolutely any way you want. Me personally, I always do it by choosing 25 books that I already have on my bookshelves. So these are 25 books on my owned TBR that I want to read in 2025 and I am prioritising. I have made an entire spread in my reading journal to keep a track of this. I think it's really important to keep a track, so I think if I have somewhere to properly track it, I could maybe complete it this year. I've done this for the last 2 years. I did one in 23 and one in 24, and in 2023 I did terribly, and in 2024 I did slightly better. So the hope is that in 2025 we can maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, complete it. I would actually say I'm quite confident about 2025's book, except for one which is massive and I know I will keep putting off. So yeah, let's just get into it. I will tell you about all the books. I'm just going to tell you what the book is and why I've chosen it. I might tell you a little bit about the book here or there, but if you want a synopsis, I'll have the books linked down below. I don't think I will give the entire synopsis for many of the books. So yeah, let's just get into it. We've got 25 books to talk about. Book number 1 is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I really want to read Brandon Sanderson. I've heard a lot of good things. I think it could be an author that I really like, and he has lots of different series, and I think I've decided this is the way I want to start. Skyward is his young adult series, so it is for a younger audience, which I'm hoping will make it less complicated as well, because that is one thing I am aware of about Brandon Sanderson's magic systems. And yeah, me and my boyfriend are going to read this together, so it's definitely a priority one. The first time we managed to find time this year to sit down and start a book together, this will be the one we pick. I don't know much about it. We have a world that's been under attack for hundreds of years, and then I believe we follow this main character here, who I think is called Spencer, but I'm not actually seeing that on the back, so I'm not sure where I've got that from, but I think the main character is called Spencer, and there's some sort of like alien fight going on and she's maybe like on a spaceship or something. I think it's going to be a fun time. I'm really intrigued and I really want to check it out, so I'm planning on it. Then next up we have books 12, 13 and 14 in the Guild Hunter series. This series starts with Angel's Blood and carries on from there. So we've got book 12, which is Archangel's War. This is the next one I need to read. Then we've got 13, which is Archangel's Sun, and then we've got 14, which is Archangel's Light. I am really excited to get to all of these. They are all within this world. Every book, sometimes you follow characters you followed before. There's always 2 perspectives, and sometimes you get to follow new characters. I know who we're following in this next one because it's carrying on straight from book 11, which I finished in November, so I'm really excited to pick this one up and continue on with the story. I have no idea who we're following in Archangel's Sun. This will be the one I pick up after Archangel's War, and I don't want to look. I'm going to try not to look and not know, and it has been spoiled for me who we are following in Archangel's Light, but I'm actually extremely excited about who we're following in this one, and actually I put this down as a 5-star prediction because of who we're following. So yeah, really excited about all 3 of these. The Guild Hunter series is essentially a world where it's as we are, right? So the series is set about 20 years ago, so like it's not quite as technology advanced, but that's just because of when these books started coming out. And they start off being set in New York, but they are set all around the world. But on top of there being humans, you also have vampires and you also have angels, and ruling over everyone you have archangels. And it's just really interesting. We start out following a guild hunter who has to work with an archangel to solve a mystery, and every book goes from there. They're all very different, but they're all set in the same world, set around the same group of characters. Sometimes you get to see loads of characters, sometimes you're only seeing the 2 characters that you follow in, but they're all really good, and I've really enjoyed the series, so I can't wait to continue on and read more. Then another series that I would like to read all of is Scythe, Thunderhead, and The Toll. I'm putting all three of these on the list because I think once I read one, I'll want to continue on. One big thing for me this year is if I'm starting series, what is my plan with continuing on with them? I don't want to start series if I have no plan to continue them. So I'm putting all three of these on. I have no idea what The Toll or Thunderhead are about, but Scythe, I know we follow two like apprentice scythes, and in this world, like, you can't die anymore. Like, you don't die of old age, you don't die of illness. The only way to die is like a scythe comes and kills you, and being a scythe is like a job that people get called to do, and we follow two apprentices going through this process. That's all I know, but it sounds really interesting, and I've heard it's like a really good dystopian book and series, so I'm really excited to get to know more and to read it. Then on the list I've put The Hobbit. To be perfectly honest, I think if I don't put this on a list and don't keep calling myself out to read it, I never will, because this is a book that I think I'll be fine reading The Hobbit, but I want to read it before reading Lord of the Rings, and that is something I'm putting off. So yeah, I want to read The Hobbit this year. I don't care about continuing on after that, but I want to say I've read The Hobbit. I think I'll like it. I can remember as a kid watching Lord of the Rings and really enjoying them, and as a kid, I know they're really long films, they kept my attention and I really enjoyed it. So as an adult who can now like properly appreciate this and love reading, I want to read these. So I want to start with The Hobbit and then continue on. The Hobbit, I actually don't know much about it. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't. But I want to just go into it. Like, it's so well known. People absolutely love it. People absolutely love this series, this writing, this world. And I want to be a part of that. So yeah, The Hobbit is on the 25 books that I want to read in 2025, and I'm a little nervous, but I do think I can do it. Then also on the list is Gold by Rowan Kennedy. This is the next book in the Plated Prisoner series that I need to read, and to be perfectly honest, I think if I don't put it on a list and make sure I prioritise this year, I might not read it. I purchased this book before finishing the previous book in the series, and I really didn't like how the previous book ended. Like, actively didn't like it, and I'm really worried about continuing on. I've liked every other book in the series though, except for that last one, so I do want to continue on, but I think I need a little bit of a push to do it. If you don't know what the Plated Prisoner series is, it is a King Midas retelling, and it's a very dark fantasy world. It's definitely gruesome, definitely a lot of things are dealt with, especially in book one. Book one, I do think you need to read it first. It is book one, but it is more of a prequel book to learn about our main character and all of the basically traumatic shit that she's had to deal with in her life. So yeah, do be careful if you want to read this one, but I am putting the next one on this list. I think this is book 5. Yeah, this is book 5. It was Glow that I read last, and I did not like the ending of Glow, which is a massive shame because Gleam was one of like my top favourite books. So yeah, we'll see, but it's on the list. Then on the list to prioritise, and it's also on my January TBR, is January 15th. Every year I plan on reading this on January 15th. I don't know if this is the second or the third January 15th that I've owned this book, but I always think it'd be cool to read this book on the date saying this entire book is set over one day, January 15th. I've put it on the January TBR this year. There's no excuses. I want to read it. This is about a yearly universal basic income system in America, like dystopian. I think it's set around 100 years from now, near future science fiction. So I don't know how far in the future it is, but it's near future. I think it's going to be a very interesting read. Like, I think universal basic income could 100% work and be a thing and be an amazing thing. Yearly is crazy to me, so I think that's a very interesting way to do it and an interesting take for it to have. And I think this follows a lot of different people. I think 1, 2, 3, 4 different people and the different ways that they see this day and they see this payment. So yeah, I'm excited to give it a go. Then we have Defect. This is the follow-up book to Fina. I read Fina maybe 2 years ago now, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun tie-in. It's a very short novella. It's even shorter than this one, and I really enjoyed it. It's set in, I guess, like an IKEA like place. It's like a superstore, and it's just following 2 employees' adventure throughout like a very short amount of time. It's really cool, really interesting. And there's a follow-up book to it. This follows different people, but we did like know of these people in the first book, and I assume it's just going to be another adventure. I think it's going to be really cool. I really enjoyed the first book. I want to read the second book, but I've owned it for over a year now and I haven't picked it up, so we are prioritising it in 2025. Then we have 3 first books in series that I know very little about but want to prioritise to basically find out if I like them and if I want to continue on in the series. So we've got Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I don't know much about this book at all, except for its multiple point of view. We follow in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different people. And I also really like Victoria Aveyard's Red Queen series. When I read it, it was one of my favourite series. I still think it's an absolutely amazing young adult fantasy series. So I'm really excited to try another series from the author, but this has not got the best reviews. A lot of people have not enjoyed it, so I want to try book 1. I want to prioritise it. Like, I already own it. I want to give it a go and find out if it's for me. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Then we have A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent. I don't know much about this except for it's very scientific and we are literally following Lady Trent as something to do with dragons. And I think each book in this series is like a different magical creature. So like they're all Lady Trent and this one's dragons, but like, there's other books with different creatures in them. I always thought I'd enjoy this and I've never looked too much into it, and then I read Emily Wilde books, which a lot of people compare this to, and I found the Emily Wilde books very lackluster and I didn't really enjoy them, to be honest. Yeah, it's a confusing one. I don't know how I feel about them. They all seem like 3 stars to me, so I'm not really sure now that I've read those, which this is like compared to, and if you like one you'll like the other so much, if I'll actually like this. So I want to give it a go and find out. If I do like it, I think these books are so cool and so interesting, and I absolutely love like the scientific figures, and there are a lot of drawings and like figures throughout the book, so I'd love to love this. I'm just worried I won't. Then I also have The Bone Shard Daughter. Again, don't know much about this. I know we follow one main character and this is all to do with bone magic, and there's an emperor who I think we're trying to like take down. I think it's like a bad reign of this like bad emperor. I think they're the big bad, and it all has to do with bone magic and using bones to get magic. Don't know much about it, but I'm really excited about it. Like, this book sounds so interesting to me, so hopefully it's one that I like and enjoy. Okay, now let's do the one I'm worried about and the one that I feel like could derail this and mean I don't complete it. I'm once again putting The Priory of the Orange Tree on a priority TBR. I don't know when I'm going to read this. I don't know. Like, I need to figure it out. This is a long ass book. This is over 800 pages. It's big. It's thick. It's a lot of writing per page. Like, it's not, you know, like if this had the same size writing as a lot of the books I read, I reckon it'd be over 1,000 pages. This is how long it has been on my TBR and I've been trying to read it. This has just fell out of it. This is a prompt for my game that I was playing in 2023. So yeah, even in 2023 I was actively trying to get it on TBRs and haven't done. I know that this is a magical queer norm world with dragons. That's all I know. I know it's got amazing reviews. I know people love it. I want to love it. I'm very intimidated by it. This could be the one that derails me. I need to try and figure out a way to get this onto TBRs and make me read it, because I don't know how well. And it's also like absolutely gorgeous. I love the cover, so yeah, we'll see. Then I would really like to continue and finish the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. So I've got Days of Blood and Starlight and Dreams of Gods and Monsters. This is books 2 and 3 of that series. Honestly, it's been about 2 years since I read the first book and I'm starting to forget what happened, so I want to read this before I forget. I really enjoyed book 1, but I did not enjoy the twist at the end. I didn't enjoy the trope that it played on. I can't tell you what it is, it'd be a massive spoiler, but it's just a trope that I really don't like, and that has made me not prioritise picking these up. So this is the year I need to. Okay, and then our final fiction book, we do have some non-fiction to go, but our final fiction book is This Woven Kingdom. I've seen this book a lot online. I've always thought I would enjoy it. I wish that this book had been around when I was reading. When I was a teenager, I think I'd have loved it back then. But I do still like some YA. I just am terrible at actually giving it a chance. And then I found this in a free little library. And I picked it up and I said, I will give it a go. And if I don't like it, I can put it right back. We go past this free little library at least once a month. I can put it right back. And that was probably about 5 months ago now I picked this up, and I still haven't given it a go. So I need to. So I put it on the priority TBR. I need to give it a go. I need to figure out if it's for me, if I like it. So yeah, that's the plan. I don't know anything about this, honestly. It is a YA fantasy. It's a duology, so there's only 2 books. That's everything. I know, this is why I need to prioritise books, because I can't remember anything about them. Okay, now let's go through the non-fiction. This is going to be a lot quicker. There's probably not going to be much to say. These are all non-fictions that I picked up because I'm interested in the topics they're talking about and I'd like to learn more about it. So let's go. First up we have Bad Gays. This is a homosexual history, and it's basically an unconventional history of homosexuality that subverts the notion of gay icons and queer heroes and asks what we can learn about LGBTQ plus history, sexuality and identity through its villains and baddies. I don't know what this is going to be about, honestly. Like, I don't know how this is going to work, but I've seen amazing reviews of this and people say that it's a really good, thought-provoking book. So I'd like to read it. Then we have Nasty Women. This is a collection of essays and accounts of what it is like to be a woman in the 21st century. That sounds very interesting to me. I would like to read it. Then we have Hags, the demonisation of middle-aged women. I find ageing and the ageing industry and how like ageing is viewed very, very interesting. I don't understand it at all. And I think this is going to look into like why you basically, as you age, as you get older, as you become like this middle-aged woman, you get demonised. And I think that sounds so good. Like, I really would like to read it and I'd like to give it a go and I'd like to learn, especially when it's something that like the popular notions I don't understand. I'm hoping that this will kind of teach me a bit about why. Like, I obviously why it's stupid, but understanding the why. Then we have The Sorrows of Work. This is one of the School of Life books, and it is basically about how people end up confused and discouraged and beaten by working lives. I don't know anything more about it, to be quite honest, but I think that the School of Life is very interesting. I've often seen their books around and I wanted to give them a go. This one was majorly reduced, not sure why. I think it was potentially damaged, but I cannot see any damage. Maybe it's meant to have a dust jacket or something, but I don't think the School of Life books normally do. So yeah, I'm really interested, and obviously it's a massive topic, especially with how different lives were when we were all in lockdowns and stuff, and like how that work-life balance was really able to change for a lot of people. I think it's going to be really interesting. And actually, the reason I don't know when this came out, okay, so this came out in 2017, so it was before any lockdowns, before people really started to, I guess, challenge that themselves. So yeah, I'm really excited. Then we have The End, Surviving the World Through Imagined Disasters, and this is all about what we can learn from those like fantasy, dystopian, apocalyptic things that we see, whether it's reading, whether it's movies, whether it's TV shows. This is often shown what can we actually learn from it. It sounds really interesting. I would love to give it a go, so I plan on it. And then The Appendix, Transmasculine Joy in a Transphobic Culture. This is exactly what it says. This is about finding joy in transphobic culture. I think it's going to be interesting. I believe this is literally collections that the author started putting together when coming across like transphobia and how to find joy, like even with that going on. And then the very final book, the 25th book of these 25 books, is 1000 Paper Cranes. This is a non-fiction that I've owned for 4, 5, maybe longer years. This is all about 10 years after the atomic bomb had been dropped on Hiroshima, and basically the results of that, and talking a lot about atomic bomb disease. I think a lot of it is through children's perspectives, and this particularly follows a child who dies 10 years later because of it and the effects of that. So yeah, very, very intrigued, really want to read it, really want to learn more about this and this subject. So yeah, those are all the non-fiction. And I've once again dedicated an entire shelf, this top shelf up here, to my 25 books that I want to read in 2025. I'm hoping having them all together and having them all visible and able to see them will make me prioritise them and remember to pick them out, especially when like playing the TBR game. Trying to remember to pick at least 1 or 2 of these books every month to get them on the official TBR would be really, really helpful. So all together, they're all on this top shelf up here. And those are the 25 books that I want to prioritise and I want to make sure I read in 2025. At the end of the year, I will do a reaction video and we will see just how well I did. Who knows? Hopefully I did better than 2024. If you'd like to see my reaction to my 2024 one, I'll link that up above. didn't do amazing. But yeah, that's it from me. That is it for the video. Have you made a 2025 like priority TBR? Are you picking 25 books? Are you picking a different amount? I think 25 is kind of like the maximum I'm willing to pick. I don't know what I'm going to do next year, because obviously every year as the year goes up the number of books get more, and I don't think I want to do 26 and keep going after that. That's going to start being a lot. This already feels like a lot. So yeah, I'm not sure where we're going from now on. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts on that down below. Do give the video a like if you liked it, subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!